A passenger jet with 98 people on board has crashed in Kazakhstan. Authorities say at least 14 people have been killed. The Bek Air plane came down shortly after takeoff from the city of Almaty en route to the capital, Nur-Sultan. More than 60 others on board have survived with injuries.
Well, we know that officials have said that all the injured are receiving treatment at the moment. Around 50 people have apparently been taken to the hospital, and several people are severely injured, according to officials. These numbers, of course, could change. This accident happened very recently. The plane had just left Almaty when it crashed. That's the biggest city in Kazakhstan, and it was en route to the administrative capital, Nur-Sultan.
In other news, China, Russia and Iran are set to hold joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman. Beijing says the drills will begin tomorrow and last till Monday. It says they are aimed at deepening exchange and cooperation between their navies. This comes amid heightened tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Both sides have been at loggerheads since Washington reimposed sanctions on Tehran last year after withdrawing from a landmark nuclear deal. And there's also been months of tension between China and the U.S. over trade and what Beijing calls U.S. interference in its internal affairs, for instance, the situation in Hong Kong. Taiwan says the new Chinese aircraft carrier has sailed through the Taiwan Strait for a second time. The island will hold a presidential election just over 2 weeks from now. Taiwan's defense ministry said the Shandong and its accompanying carrier group traversed the body of water separating China from Taiwan. The ministry did not specify when this latest sail-by took place. Now, the Shandong is China's first domestically built carrier. And last month, Beijing confirmed it had sent the Shandong through the Taiwan Strait as part of routine training. China has threatened to attack if Taiwan moves towards formal independence.
It's definitely cemented Netanyahu, who appeared to be a weakened leader. It cemented him as the strong man of the Likud. He is leading the Likud to the next elections. But it doesn't change the larger picture, which at the moment is that he is the leader of a caretaker government. He was not able to form a government, a coalition twice, and that there's elections, unprecedented third elections in March, just over 2 months away, and that he will lead the Likud party in that election. If he fails in that election, again, to be able to form a government, I think it will be the end of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte will decline U.S. President Donald Trump's invitation to visit the White House. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, Manila has also banned 2 U.S. senators from entering the Philippines, and American citizens might also need to secure visas before entering the country. That's after Washington barred Filipino officials involved in the detention of opposition Senator Leila de Lima from entering the U.S. She's a vocal critic of President Duterte's war on drugs.
Spirits may be up when it comes to financial health in this country, but at the same time, millions of Canadians are struggling to get by. Government statistics put the number of Canadians living below the poverty line at nearly 3.5 million. In reality, the number of people unable to cover their basic needs is likely higher. Abigail Beeman reports on efforts underway in Ottawa to change the poverty line to better capture the extent of the problem.
We lifted 900,000 Canadians out of poverty, including 300,000 kids. Fighting poverty has been a focus of the Trudeau government, creating Canada's first official poverty line. To better reflect today's reality, Statistics Canada is working to update what defines it. The last time that happened was 2008, and the number of Canadians living in poverty jumped by 2.2%.
Two-week manhunt is over as police in New York City say they've located a 14-year-old suspect wanted for questioning in connection with the murder of Tessa Majors, that Barnard College freshman fatally stabbed at a city park near campus. The teen detained and questioned by authorities and submitting DNA tests before he was released, but police say they believe he is the one who stabbed her.
Tonight, the NYPD announcing that major break in the murder of Barnard College freshman Tessa Majors. A 14-year-old on the run for 2 weeks who police believe stabbed Majors to death, located and questioned, ending a massive manhunt that haunted the campus community. The city's chief of detectives tweeting, "This was a significant development. Although he has since been released to the custody of his attorneys, the investigation remains very active."
A pair of killers on the loose after a robbery turned deadly at a Virginia Denny's early this morning. Chilling surveillance footage. Take a look at this, showing the two masked suspects entering the restaurant, one clearly waving a gun. Customers and employees ordered to the ground. 2 people were shot. 1 did not survive.
Tonight, a manhunt for these 2 armed robbery suspects who shot 2 people at a Denny's in Manassas, Virginia. The suspects seen on security cameras enter the restaurant after 2 a.m., both armed, one pulling a pistol, the other a baton, demanding cash from employees and customers and ordering more than 20 people to the ground. As the suspects were leaving, one of the men shot a 34-year-old customer seated on the floor cooperating with their orders. Then police say Yusuf Oscar, picking up a delivery order, unwittingly held the door open for the suspects. The 56-year-old hit in the head with a baton, then shot to death.
We are being told to brace for catastrophic conditions as an extreme heat wave hits Sydney. Temperatures will climb well into the 40s in the coming days, peaking on New Year's Eve and making conditions even worse on our fire grounds.
Sydney's biggest water supply choked by smoke. Every corner of the Warragamba Dam under threat as fire takes over the Blue Mountains. Today, hundreds of firefighters working to stop the spread. And as an extreme heat wave creeps across the country's southeast, authorities are preparing for catastrophic conditions.
Across Christmas and Boxing Day, crews have been out there constructing containment lines, putting in some essential backburns to try and hold these fires with their progression to the east.
North India is shivering as the mercury continues its downward trend. Minimum temperature in the capital was recorded at 4.2 degrees Celsius minimum this morning, which makes Friday the coldest day of the year. Temperature is likely to drop further in the coming days, and Delhi already is witnessing one of the longest cold spell in the last 22 years. The Met Department has predicted severe cold wave conditions over northwest and central India in the next 2 days. Meanwhile, most parts of North India, including Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, are already covered in snow. Minimum temperature in Kashmir Valley and Ladakh remains several degrees below the freezing point.